I was reading about this fascinating experiment in Germany where they gave people a basic income. It's really something. People kept working full time despite receiving a no strings attached monthly payment.
Yep, that's wild. They basically got $200 every month, right?
Exactly, over a 3 year period. And these folks were like between 21 and 40 years old, living on their own, and earning somewhere between $100 and $2,600 monthly before the payment.
Got it. It's interesting how they chose a group that wasn't struggling too financially, almost like they were already self sustaining, isn't it?
Right, that choice is key because it helps isolate the effect of the basic income on work behavior itself. And what's really surprising is that even with the extra money, the participants still worked about 40 hours a week.
Yeah, no slacking off. Yeah, it almost seems counterintuitive. You'd think that if you get free money, people might just relax or take a break from work.
Exactly. But instead, they actually switched jobs more often and enrolled in further education. It's like the extra financial security pushed them to, pursue better opportunities.
Right, that makes sense. So basically, the basic income acted like a catalyst for change rather than a comfort blanket.
Yeah, exactly. It's like it gave them the freedom to experiment with their careers. And the participants reported greater satisfaction with their working lives and even felt more secure with their incomes.
That's a pretty strong argument in favor of certain UBI policies. I mean, isn't it fascinating how these experiments change the narrative about work ethic?
For sure. There's also this point from Professor Suzanne Fiedler, who said, "We find no evidence that people love doing nothing." And that really challenges the stereotypical view that free money makes you lazy.
Absolutely, it does. Though I have to ask, don't you think that since the participants were already in a specific income and life stage bracket, the experiment might not reflect what happens with, older or lower income groups?
That's a fair critique. The study did target a very specific group, and while the findings are insightful, they might not directly extrapolate to everyone. But still, the fact that they measured work hours and job satisfaction uniformly across the board gives a really good insight.
I see your point. Right. It's like they set a specific stage, and on that stage, people didn't just sit idly by. They actually took on new challenges, like changing jobs or going back to school.
Exactly. It's almost like a personal reinvention tool. Sometimes having that extra cushion gives you the confidence to take risks you wouldn't normally consider.
Yeah, it opens doors. And it's not just about career moves, right? The study also noted improvements in overall mental health and a sense that life felt more meaningful.
Yes, totally. Participants felt their lives were more valuable and reported better mental well-being. It's like they weren't just working to survive. They had the freedom to actually enjoy
Right, that's
life
really
a bit more.
inspiring. It reminds me a bit of the Stockton, California experiment, where people received $500 a month, and there were similar claims about better public health outcomes.
Yes, exactly. These experiments, even though they differ in amounts and regions, consistently show that a little financial stability can, give people room to breathe and explore opportunities.
Definitely. But here's something that puzzles me. If people are using this basic income to enhance their careers, is it really acting as a universal safety net, or is it more of an empowerment tool?
That's a great question. I think it's a bit of both. On the one hand, it removes the pressure of having to work just to pay the bills. On the other, it empowers people to take risks, like training for a new job or studying something they're passionate about.
Yeah, kind of like having a built in safety net. Right. But then the concern critics often raise is that unconditional basic income might discourage work. Yet here the study shows the opposite.
Correct. The data showed that the basic income didn't reduce the 40-hour work week when compared to the control group. In fact, some participants became more entrepreneurial and eager to improve their skills.
Absolutely, that's impressive. So essentially, rather than being a disincentive, the income is like an incentive for personal growth and career mobility.
Exactly, it's as if the financial security freed them up to invest in themselves. Imagine being able to switch careers or invest time in learning without the constant fear of financial ruin.
Yeah, that's the dream. I also noticed that the recipients, especially women, reported feeling a greater sense of autonomy. That's such a powerful result.
Definitely. That sense of autonomy is huge. It's not just about working, it's about having control over one's own time. Even though they still work the same hours, they manage to carve out time for sleep, volunteering, and spending quality time with loved ones.
Right? That balance is key. And it's interesting too in the context of public policy. If a society can combine economic security with high levels of productivity, doesn't that challenge the traditional idea of welfare?
Absolutely. It suggests that a basic income isn't just a handout, it's an investment in the individual and ultimately in society's long-term health and productivity.
Very forward thinking. I mean, when experts like Matthew Johnson talk about it, saying that it allows workers to take good risks, it really underscores that point.
Yes, and Elliot Johnson pointed out that reducing conditionality in welfare systems removes perverse disincentives. That's crucial, especially for people with disabilities or those facing other barriers.
Definitely, that's an important nuance. But I still wonder if a continual unconditional payment might ever lead some people to disengage from competitive work in the long run. What do you think?
That's a legitimate concern. But this study makes me think that when you give people enough to cover the basics, they actually become more motivated to improve their lives. It seems the extra security just lets them focus on what really matters.
I see what you're saying, but it's something we should keep watching as more diverse groups are studied. Yeah, agreed. We need more representative studies to fully understand the dynamics on a broader scale.
Exactly. The organization behind this study, Grundeinkommen, mentioned that over 2 million people applied to participate, which shows there's a huge public interest. Plus, they're crowdfunded by over 200,000 supporters, so clearly people want to see how this
community
pans out.
backing is huge. And looking forward, they're thinking about how such a system could address challenges from climate change, demographic shifts, and technological disruption.
Exactly. It's a forward-looking vision, almost like a multi-purpose tool for modern society. It's not just about income, it's about well-being and sustainability.
Absolutely. So, in many ways, this experiment kind of flips the script on what many of us thought basic income would do. It doesn't make you complacent. It actually can encourage growth, exploration, and even greater labor market participation.
Absolutely, and that's such a compelling takeaway. It shows that when you address financial insecurity, people tend to thrive rather than simply coast.
Right? That's the key. It really makes you wonder how governments could use this as an investment in long-term population health and overall productivity.
Totally, it's about rethinking the safety net as a launch pad for more dynamic, engaged lives. And who knows, maybe this will prompt more large-scale experiments to see if these results hold across different, more diverse communities.
Yeah, that would be amazing to see. Well, it's certainly exciting to see new approaches to economic policy that empower people rather than box them in.
Absolutely. It's a reminder that sometimes a little security can unlock a whole lot of potential, and hopefully it will shape smarter public policies for the future.
Couldn't agree more.